What is up, Motorfest racers? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut. I'm here today with the Bugatti Bolide. It is a banger of a race car. It has got a very special characteristic that makes it pretty cracked in a lot of ways in the Grand Race, and it suffers in other places, but overall, if you're looking for a very sturdy, very predictable Grand Race car, this is it. And we've got a tune on it that makes it even that much better. Let me show you what I've got. Let's get going. Alright, as the screen goes black as we tap into the game, we go into vehicles. For the upgrades, for the customization side of things, there's a little you can do to the rims. And that's it. I mean, that's it. You can't even change the caliper colors. So it's all vanity items. You can do your tires, do other things. Like I say, guys, slap on a set of that custom rubber so that way you can get the rims further out from the body to give yourself a little more stability. And then make sure you grab yourself a livery to support the Cornnut crew. We've got SakuraCommanders. He's got a couple on there. There's one with my name on it. I don't know why I didn't have that one on there. One with his name on it. But at the end of the day, out here, rep the Cornnut crew. That's got my number on it too. That's actually sweet. He just did that recently. It looks great. It's a really cool way to do that. And then you guys can change the car color any way you want. All right, let's dig into the pro settings. That's why you guys are here. Final drive, all the way long. Give it as much on the big end as you possibly can. Power distribution, we're going to fade that to the front, so it's 40% front. Grip, 100% on the front and negative 11 in the rear. For the brake balance, you're going to fade that towards the back. Makes the car more predictable on braking, so it's 51%. Brake power, 100%. For the load in the front, it's 100. For the load in the rear, it's negative 20. For the springs, you're going to stiffen those up just a skosh, and you're going to go plus 3% stiff. In the rear, you're going to go plus 6%. For the damper compression, you're going to go all the way soft, almost. It's negative 18%, so you can go all the way to 20, but it's negative 18 damper compression to the front and negative 11 towards the soft side in the rear. For the rebound, you're going to stiffen it up just a skosh in the front, so you're going to go plus 5% front, and you're going to go plus 16% in the rear. Pretty big swings on the suspension setup. We really changed the car quite a lot. For the ARB, which is anti-roll bars, you're going to go minus 5% on the front, making it a little softer, and then you're going to stiffen it up all the way on the rear and go plus 10%. And then for the camber, you're negative 25% camber in the front and negative 14% camber in the rear. What all these settings do is they stiffen the car up a little bit, they make it very planted and predictable. The overall turning radius suffers just a little bit from that, but it makes it really, really good for the Grand Race because now you've got a car that's planted. You've got a car that you can take off-road, do full degen lines and cut the track, which in the racing class, this is one of the few cars that does that well. And so for that reason, you can scuff some shortcuts. It goes up and makes a tight corner and you're sitting there just driving through the fields, making it work. That's really strong. It's going to be able to put you out front of a lot of people. In that first corner, when it's a square corner and everybody dies into that, you can just cut way to the inside, go on the grass, keep lots of stability, the car is planted, doesn't loop out, and you're good to go. Alright, let me show you what this car does on the test track, and then I'll show you how it wins in a Grand Race. It's really good. I use it a lot on stream, specifically when I see that section of the Grand Race in the racing class is going to be doing some off-road stuff. I'm like, that's the car you need because it is very good. Guys, you can support my channel by becoming a member down here on YouTube, or just like the video if you would. That helps get in front of other people. And then come and join me on stream. Come and race with the Cornnut crew. It's pretty awesome. I also have a Patreon, self-plug. I don't have any sponsors yet, so I got to sponsor myself, right? But you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for all the gameplay footage. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Here we are on my test track creating a Legend, which is the first race in the Lamborghini playlist. We've got our Bolide full level, but the parts don't matter because we don't run any affixes that give us a boost. And then for the event settings, it's just midday with clean driving for that extra money. And then difficulty options all the way up to 5. And then guidance is off, rewind is off, nitro is off, and then I run sequential gearbox with comfort and ABS is on. All the rest of the settings are off. What that does is it gives me the best ability to stay consistent when I'm setting lap times, to know if I make a change, if it's better or worse. With nitrous, if you don't use the nitrous in the exact same spot for the exact same amount of time every lap, it could lead to inconsistencies on your time. And so by turning that off, it makes it so I can have more consistent lap times for you guys, and to know that when SakuraCommander and I are doing these setups and these tunes, we're doing it right. Alright, where this thing shines is on its launch. It's going to get that all-wheel drive moving. It hooks up so well. And right there through the grass, this car hooks up and does very well in the dirt. That's one of its strengths. One of the weaknesses is it has a wider turning radius and doesn't turn in quite as snappy as some of the other race cars. And so you've got to adjust for that. It still is very cracked, very, very good in the grand race, specifically because you can do things with it and put it in places that the other cars cannot go or will not go with stability. But like right there is a perfect example of that wider turning radius and not hooking in. If I was in the 458 Italia or in the FXXK when I was running that on this track, it takes these corners a little better and it responds to those curves a little different. But in the grand race, somebody's going to throw you into a field. Somebody's going to decide that they want your piece of pavement more than you do, and they're going to bump into you. And so when that happens, if you get off in the dirt, this car is going to allow you to just keep on the throttle and still cruise, whereas a lot of the other cars will not. We did hit the wall back there. That's going to cost us probably a second and a half of our total time, but we're really not questing for crazy lap times here, you guys. We're questing for setting up the car for stability and for purpose. And I believe the purpose of this car is to be stable in the race class off-road, and I think that we've got it set up very well for that, and it's very competitive for that reason. So if you get good at when you're playing the grand race and looking and seeing what the path looks like for the whatever class, and you see that, oh, that's racing, and oh, those are some of the spots where you go off the track, grab the Bolide, and then now you're out here doing some crazy stuff. As we're coming around the last couple sets of corners, see what kind of lap time we can get. Not a crazy lap time. I mean, we're doing good, but we're not breaking any crazy personal records here, I don't think. I think we're probably going to be, what, 17s? Yep, 2:17.8. Not bad. Like I say, I think we lost a little bit of time by hitting the wall there. I could have run cleaner, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to show you guys how the car does in the off-road, kind of what the testing methodology is, and trying to set up a car so that way it'll win you or help you win grand races. Speaking of which, let me show you a grand race with me running this car. See you in a second. Alright, we out here got the Bolide, the Bolide. I really like it because it has, to be honest, I don't know if it's all-wheel drive or not. I probably should have looked at that in the settings. But the way that we just accelerated through all of those people is why I think this car is very strong. This is another reason why I think this car is very strong. That right there. So we just went from essentially last to first second with this guy. Now first in what, 4% of the track, 3% of the track. This has incredibly strong off-road characteristics, and it allows you to really cut the track and feel confident in the dirt. And that's one of the few race cars that does that. A lot of the other race cars, they're rear-wheel drive. The moment you get in the dirt, they're sideways. You're doing 180s, 360s, 360 no-scope your opponent as they crash into the side of you. It's really sweet. And so this car does it a little different, and I think that makes it truly special. It doesn't turn in or handle quite as good as some of the other race cars. You know, I'm not even going to pretend that it does. I think that its turning radius is a little wider, but that all-wheel drive nature and its ability to cut the track makes it a real asset and a tool to have in the arsenal of the grand race, because you can put it in places that you wouldn't put the other race cars, and you can do it with confidence and predictability. Then that's something I try to preach to you guys, is being predictable in your car, being able to put it where you want and know what it's going to do when you put it there is huge. Like having a car that you're like, maybe I'll make this corner, you're not as comfortable in it, or, well, I'm going to try to run this degen line and cut the track, but I might spin out. That's not consistent. And consistency is when you start to get fast. When you can knock out corner after corner, track after track, lap after lap, the same, that's when your times start to fall, because you can do micro improvements like get a little tighter on that corner or brake a little later because you didn't need to slow down as much that last time. And that's where you really start to have your times fall. At least IRL, like when we're on the track, when you can start sitting consistent times, that's when your times start to fall down. And so it's similar in the video game. And so you guys saw right there, we just went from essentially last, I think one position in front of last, so maybe 26th, to first place and 3%, 4% of that track, and then we just carried it out throughout. Now we're in our Ivory Tower Alpha GP car. Build to come on this soon, you guys. I need to get it out to you because the tune on this is pretty sturdy. This is a great car. It's unrivaled with its ability to accelerate and do fast things. So I could degen line here, but I know that this car is going to get unreasonably upset when I put it through the dirt, so I don't. We just get it out on the pavement and take the longer lines and just be happy about it. But I like to really include this gameplay footage at the end of the build videos to show you guys that I do in fact run the cars that I'm putting in the video. I can take a W in it. I can, you know, show you that they do have a place in the video game for being fast. And as we start tuning and setting up less meta cars, the W's might come a little slower, but I'll still show you the gameplay footage to see how it performs, and if it's bad, I'll tell you. But right now we're trying to find the good cars to build everybody up, so that way, A, you guys have confidence when you come to the channel. You'll know that, oh, okay, well, if Cornnut and his guys set that up, it's going to be good, or it's going to be the best that it can be for their driving style. Because there are other driving styles that lend themselves to different setups. And we're doing it with an air of integrity. It's like, oh, some people are like, oh, here's the build. And you're like, okay, now what? Do you win with it? Did you do anything with it? Did you put it on a test track? And I think that stuff's really important for me to show you guys, because if you don't know the testing methodology behind it, or the fact that we actually do race the car, because there's a lot of people that just do a video, show you the car, show you the tune, and that's it, and they move along. And it's like, did you race with it? Did you win with it? Are you fast enough to win consistently in any car? Do I want to tune from guys that are mid, that can't win races, that think something's good but they don't have the skill set to back it up? Or do I want tunes from guys that are winning lots of races and they know that, oh, that car handled this way, and so they need to make a change and whatever? And that's why I think that I'm trying to separate myself on my channel from a lot of other people that are out there. Anybody can go and tweak some springs and some rebound and stuff, but like, are they using it? I ask you these questions. And then you've got other content creators that they're partnered with someone, and the someone does the tune, and the someone's really fast, and then the person's using their platform to build them up, and it's like, that's okay. It'd be better if you showed me racing you. Like, don't get me wrong, ton of my tunes are coming from Cube, SakuraCommander, and these guys, but I'm also taking their builds, running them on the test track, tweaking them to my own personal preference, or I've worked with these guys enough to where we all have a very similar driving style, and so the end goal is the same for all of us, and we all win races. We're all really fast, and so as a team, for you guys, I think it's just a much better situation, because all you need to do is turn on the channel. There's the build. How many people worked on it? Lots. How many people tested it? Lots. How many hours went into that car? Well, you take, if we each spend 1 hour on it, but there's 5, 6, 7, 8 of us that test the car, and then I do the gameplay footage, shit, there's 10 hours of gameplay right there. There's 10 hours being put in the car. Very few other content creators are putting that kind of time and effort into these cars for you guys, and so it's kind of the difference. I'll get off my soapbox. I appreciate you guys watching. That's the Bolide. It's dope. Go buy the Bugatti. I think it's a really great racing car. And You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.